I have all my needs coming with speed. I am a being of love and light, and I will achieve my goals. And like I started saying that shit to myself like around like 2019 when I started like popping off some shows like right before I got booked for Sonic Bloom, and I kind of felt like it was all like steamrolling, and I could feel that shit like building up, like gassing myself up, you know, like giving myself goosebumps. And that shit is real, man. Like what you put into yourself, fucking definitely, you know, you put out, and it the way you talk to yourself definitely like elevates the way you feel. Like you call yourself a fucking loser or dumbass all day, you're definitely going to feel that way, and you're going to like beat yourself up and just feel like crap, you know, and that shit ain't going to work.
You're listening to the Freio
Music Podcast.
To the Freio Music Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Freio Music Podcast. In this episode, the featured artist is Patrick Skyler. Patrick has actually released several different EPs since the recording of this podcast. The two EPs are titled A Certain Je ne sais quoi, if my French pronunciation is decent, and finally, Same But Different. So check those out. Without further ado, let's get into the interview.
My name's Patrick Smith. And I just go by Patrick Skyler, which is my first and middle name, but it's like a different spelling. The original spelling's Celtic, and just too confusing to tell people that, so I had to switch it up, make it easier.
Nice. Well, that answers the origin story there. So how did you first get into music? What got you started at a young age?
So I first started playing clarinet. I think I was in like third grade. I was in like school band. Definitely was not my preferred instrument of choice. I think I requested playing the drums or saxophone, and I was shot down on both those attempts by my parents. They're like, no, drums are too fucking loud, and we've got a perfectly good clarinet in the closet upstairs, so you can have that.
Nice. That's good. And so what kind of got you excited about it? Because the first instrument you weren't really into. So was there anything any fork in the road that really piqued your curiosity?
I mean, I was still just having a blast playing music and being with my friends and stuff back then. And we definitely weren't like playing any complex pieces or anything. It was definitely like Hot Cross Buns or something like that, you know, or Ode to Joy, something cheesy and simple, but it was just fun back then, you know, just kind of figuring stuff out.
How old were you?
Oh, God,
back in those days?
No clue. It's 8 years old.
Grade.
Like
okay,
that.
Nice. Elementary school.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And were there any musical turning points that kind of led you towards the music that you now produce and enjoy? Or there might have been many forks in the road. I don't know if you want to dive into it.
I mean, I like definitely listening to hip hop. It definitely kind of, I feel, pushed me in a certain way. Like so back in those days, I was listening to like a ton of hip hop. I think like one moment that kind of like switched everything for me. Definitely getting my hands on some first like explicit lyric tapes. I remember I was like walking home from elementary school one day, and I saw a copy of NWA, Straight Outta Compton, and Two Live Crew, Nasty as They Wanna Be, like just on the street, like glistening almost to me, and like calling to me. And I was like, oh shit, like I could not get my hands on these, you know, I was hella young, could not buy explicit content music without like a parent or whatever.
Yeah.
Parent or stealing it. It was like the one way you could get shit back then. But yeah, that was definitely like a point where I definitely was more focused, and like this music kind of just sucked me in. Like I was like, oh my God, I had this shit like all the time. Just trying to get my hands on more new music. Started buying like records and shit. Definitely the want to like be a DJ kind of started around then. I remember I saw like House Party or some shit. That was definitely, I was like, oh my God, I would definitely want to throw parties and DJ, and that shit that's got to be like the tightest shit ever. So yeah, like I think it was like junior in high school. Finally got like the first pair of decks for my folks bought me some belt drive ones for my birthday, and
these are
started DJing
legit
then.
records, or
Yeah, vinyl.
yep.
These turntables were terrible though; they were straight garbage. But it was still just fun to again like just learn, hang out with my friends, just chilling in the basement, doing dumb freestyles, cutting it up,
Nice.
stuff like that. You know.
That's great.
Going to raves started shortly after that, and that definitely kind of like morphed into some of the sound that I do now, for sure. You know, it all has some sort of influence.
Nice. And you told me earlier about Earth Gang, how they were an influence on you.
Oh, most definitely. They're definitely one of my favorite groups at the moment, and over like the past 4 or 5 years since I first discovered them. They've been around a lot longer than that, but
And what
they're
is
definitely
it?
one of the most creative and like unique hip hop acts out right now.
Yeah, definitely. So you showed me them, and I checked out a few of their tracks. It's pretty diverse, but simplistic.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's definitely can be like some like conscious hip hop style stuff, or like some hard hitting like trap Atlanta style shit. You know, it's awesome.
Were there any teachers that helped you along the way, or classes or insights that you had that kind of propelled you to make your own music and not, move away from hot cross buns? And
Probably not so much back then. Like, didn't have a lot of other like arts and stuff in school past like elementary school, in public school in Denver growing up, but at college most definitely. Like I went to school for a double major, recording arts and music business at CU Denver, and every professor that I had there was super motivating and just helpful with the way I wanted to kind of shape my project, things I wanted to learn, everything that I wanted to incorporate into just making myself a better musician, performer, whatever,
Nice. What style were you producing back then?
Kind of the similar stuff, like glitch hop, dubstep, just not sounding as well put together. Like, I feel like I had some good ideas then, but I couldn't expand on them. So the tracks are sounding kind of thin, and everything's not kind of beefed up with a lot of like layering of sounds and things that I incorporate into my productions now.
Nice. Well, let's dive into that. So, love to start out with the track "Mind Blown." Features Cruise a Kid, I believe.
It's the Mr. Linguistical, twisting from the mason jar, metaphysical, crystals on the tablecloth, eyes closed, deep breath in a staple dot, spilling out my heart, I write a lip, say a lot, elemental, chilling in my own dome, meditating while I'm writing, levitating ozone, next level flow, take my mind to the top floor, stairs all the way up, thanks to the microphone.
Yes, sir.
And
Trippy Mike champion.
Yep. So, first of all, it's like just a super fly beat, and there's like bells in the background. You got flows on top, and it's got a real nice feel. It's like kind of a unique texture of it. Tell me about the production and how you came to make it.
So this track had been in the works for like a couple years. I think I actually started it in like 2018 as just kind of a regular beat that I was going to make for myself. All original kind of samples. I want to say for a lot of those synths and bells, I used Omnisphere, which is just a dope, like super thorough plug-in for all sorts of crazy synth sounds, guitar sounds, percussion, whatever. It has just, it's very powerful and it can do like a lot of things. So yeah, a lot of those sounds are all originals and stuff that I've made and just chords I was playing. I think I did like a one of the first drops in there, which I chopped up, which isn't even like on the song anymore. And I was about to kind of trash it. And I think I played it for him when we were just hanging out. And he was like, this shit's tight. Let's kind of like expand on this. And kind of switched it up. Hung out with him one day. Made that intro a little longer so it had about like 64 bars for him to rap over, and Cruza is just an amazing MC, and he just laid it down in like one take. And I was like, "You sure you don't want to do another one?" He's like, "Nah, that's good." I was like, "Okay." I've never really seen anyone do that rapping before. That was awesome. We'll just add some ad libs or whatever, just record some extra crap. And I realized then that the song was getting like pretty tight with this flow, and I added that like crazy kind of like breakdown build up with the pitch vocals. And I was like, dude, it drops into this it builds up to this drop, and this drop is like kind of nothing. It was just the part that I didn't really like before. So I was like, I have to go back, redo this whole thing, make it like hella hyphy and just over the top. And I kind of kept adding things to it. Like every other month I would do like little kind of micro edits, add something else, more fills, just trying to make it super just blow you away style track, because I knew I was going to put it on our compilation, and I wanted it to be like the standout track of the compilation, kind of like I didn't want to steal anyone else's shine, but I wanted it to be like, yo, that was like the tightest track on there, you know.
Nice. And when you come back to it months later, how are you giving it time and space so that you're not listening to it on repeat for too long, day after day? And do you come back to it like, you know, with a space of time in between?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, this track was spaced over like a couple years, and like didn't come out till just like fall last year. So it was kind of like bits and pieces. Like I got Cruiser kind of do that, built that other like drop, did some other edits, and then I finally got Briscoe to do all the cuts and scratches on there, and I feel that was just like the icing on top. You know, it just added like a whole nother layer of dopeness to the track.
Let's talk about a different track, Royalties, or any other track that you would like on the Utmost album, but that one in particular kind of stands out to me.
Yeah, I love that one too. Like when I was coming out with this EP, it was definitely, these are my sickest tracks I got like right now, you know, that I've been working on. Quarantine was like kind of coming into effect. I was like kind of saving them all for like an EP release party. Knew that was never going to happen since we're all in fucking lockdown then. I was like, all right, let's just dump this music. Hopefully give some people something to like be happy about or enjoy, you know, at this point in time. But yeah, that track, I want to say I started that one. I was in Hawaii with my family at the start of the year prior, and just started that one, just chilling in like on the balcony, just getting that like first chord progression and like those little like audio chops. Had looked up a bunch of just like neuro-based tutorials on that trip on YouTube, and I want to say that's how I created pretty much all those patches, was just from watching a few different tutorials of like Kyoto, Frequent. I'm trying to remember some of these like older ones. Gravitas had like a really great one they did of just like sine compression one. I think I also incorporated on that one. Basically all just made with Operator, like Ableton's native synthesizer, which is super powerful, and you can just make a ton of sick shit with.
That's cool. So you like learning from YouTube and just kind of plucking out ideas and then incorporating that in?
Definitely. Like sometimes it can, I'll overuse something new that I've just learned, and that's usually the time to learn something else, so I can kind of diversify on these things and not just pigeonhole on one thing, you know. But yeah, I started doing something recently that I saw Vibe Squad, Aaron Holstein said he does every day, or he's been doing for pretty much the past 2 years or a year and a half now, and it's just watching a different tutorial every day, like right when he wakes up, having it like with his coffee, just kind of learn something new every day, keep kind of tutoring yourself, you know.
That's awesome.
One and up.
Yeah, and so that takes a certain mindset, knowing that you don't know what you're about to learn, and kind of a humbleness, that being willing to learn something new. And
For sure.
Yeah, so that's cool. When did you start doing that, and was there a shift in like your mind that kind of led you down this way?
I feel like I've definitely been going over so many shifts and life shifts over like the past year, man. Just things I'm reading, books I'm reading at the time, like Four Agreements, just other like
what other books
kind of things. I'm sorry?
What other books stand out?
Shit. I read like over the course of the last year, I've probably read like 50 books. So sometimes they're tough to remember. A bunch of different autobiographies. Like I read Flea's, Herbie Hancock's, just a bunch of other like music people. A couple ones of like some Black Panthers that were just made me grateful, about life and just how I'm saying other things that I've had, my privilege in life, things that I don't realize sometimes that I have to take knowledge of, take accountability for, things like that.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, man. Just tons of different other things. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Lost my train of thought there.
It's all good. Yeah. So having a mindset of learning and growth, that's awesome. And then you can incorporate those ideas, and you're always approaching the same tools with a fresh tool set.
Most definitely.
You're like sharpening your tools or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
you were saying like when I started doing that, it's definitely been like a couple months, and I'm not sure exactly when I started.
For sure.
But I've slacked on a few days. Obviously, if I had to like get up and go to work instantly, that wasn't happening, but I've tried to make it more of a consistent cycle, and just kind of keep it rolling.
Yeah. And when you make music, are you very consistent with your workflow, or meaning do you wake up and like make music 5 out of 7 days, or do you work in bursts?
I would say lately it's definitely been in like bursts because I've just been working a ton. So I work for AEG and do like a lot of like freelance stagehand audio engineer kind of things. So I've just been working a ton of festivals lately and shows since music industry is just like back up at 100%, running all days a week. And so just on the days off I have now, I'll just try and get as much work done. Hopefully start early, but it's depending on inspiration. It might be like 5 hours of writing music, or it might be like an hour or two. It's weird, like dealing with inspiration, creativity, things like that, mindset, mental state. How you're feeling, how tired you are, whatever.
Yeah.
It all filters in.
And when you're not feeling productive or feeling overwhelmed with other things going on, what approaches do you take to get back into the state of flow?
So there's a lot of different things that I've been doing over the course year just to keep my mental state in a creative space, but also, not feeling depressed, trying to feel a little bit better even when things are feeling bleak. Exercise, I feel, is like key to getting your brain going. Either I'll go for a run, ride my bike. Over like quarantine, I did a shit ton of hiking, which is something I never really did before, at least by myself. I would not just like, I'm going to go on a hike and go drive an hour, things like that.
I see the pull-up
meditation.
bar
Right,
you.
yeah, for sure, yeah. No, I was definitely crushing some serious like weightlifting and exercising. And then I got back into skateboarding, which I hadn't done for like 10 to 15 years. I got heavy back into that over quarantine, which was awesome. And I was almost like back at my same level I was like back when I was like 18, which was fucking awesome. Like landing trick skateboarding was like awesome dopamine hit that I'd never really experienced in a long time. And that was great. Like I got back into that. I was skating almost every day. And then I broke my arm one day on like a super simple, easy trick I had landed like a million times. And that definitely like threw off the groove of everything. So I had to get back and learn some other things. And that's when I got heavy into meditating every day, like daily meditations. And I feel that definitely helped me just slow down reactivity that I'd have to like bullshit happen in my life, whatever, just my overall mindset just changed doing those. And I started incorporating another thing that's almost on the same level of meditation, Wim Hof breath work.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it will just reset the way you're feeling.
It's crazy how it really does like go so deep into your brain and like kind of wakens you up and changes your mind.
Totally. Like it will totally shift your whole
perception,
mindset or perception, whatever you're feeling that day, you probably lose those feels and just like, boom, we're starting over from zero or starting fresh. It's like,
do you do the cold
total
showers?
Body reset. I do. I haven't done like an ice bath, but I definitely like it's like an end of a shower. I'll definitely throw it on cold for like the last like minute, and it doesn't really faze me now because I've been doing it for like a few months now. So it's like almost like if I don't do it, I'll be like, oh shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, the cold showers also are a huge mind shift. I remember I woke up in a shit mood one day, jumped in a super cold shower, and within 5 minutes I was totally like a new person.
Dude, so I was listening to one podcast, and it was before I kind of got into Wim Hof, and Dax Shepard from like the show Punk'd was one of the guests on it, and he was talking about doing them, and I forget where he was like his reference was for this, but like the cold shower, so your body, when it feels that cold, it all automatically goes into survival mode, which is where it will lose all its like anxiety or like depressing thoughts, whatever the fuck you're kind of dealing with at that moment in time. And you're more just in survival mode. So your body's like, well, fuck all this dumb shit I'm worrying about. Let's worry about like surviving right now and like what's really mattering and like what's currently presently going on,
Yeah.
So I feel like that's totally legit, it's fucking awesome.
And so your meditation, do you use a mantra? What kind of meditation do you do? Transcendental?
I do like a lot of guided meditations, but I definitely have a mantra that I go by. I got this actually from, I want to say it was KRS-One. It was like on his Instagram page one day. He's like, you should talk to yourself more often. Build yourself up. He's like, everyone should have their own mantra. He's like, this is what I use. I am the greatest blank, insert here or whatever, I am a being of love and light. Or, hold on, this is the third part. I have all my needs coming with speed. I am a being of love and light, and I will achieve my goals. And like, I started saying that shit to myself, like around like 2019 when I started like popping off some shows, like right before I got booked for Sonic Bloom. And I kind of felt like it was all like steamrolling, and I could feel that shit like building up, like gassing myself up, like giving myself goosebumps. And that shit is real, man. Like what you put into yourself, fucking definitely, you put out. And it the way you talk to yourself definitely like elevates the way you feel. Like you call yourself a fucking loser or dumbass all day, you're definitely going to feel that way, and you're going to like beat yourself up and just feel like crap, and that shit ain't going to work.
No kidding. There's a great person who I met doing when I was working, but his name's Ruben Gonzalez. A quick shout out to him, a 4-time Olympian, and he was talking about the mental self-talk. And he was saying that he used to just beat himself up over stupid things, like forgetting the keys, walking to the car, you forgot the keys. And now he flipped his mind and he says, I'm so smart. I remembered that I forgot that I left the keys on the counter. And so it's just like, rather than being like, oh, you dumbass, you always forget your keys, it's just, no, I'm so smart. I remembered that I forgot, blah, blah. So
for sure.
I like that one. It was a good little flip.
That's tight. I like that one too.
Nice. Well, that's great. So one other track I'd love to talk about briefly is Exponential Potential. So first of all, where did the name come from? I love the name. It's got a good rhyme. Definitely it has to do with math. It's cool. I like it. So where did it come from?
I'm trying to think of where I got that one. Like I have a whole list of other stupid, just like goofy pun names that I make up all the time and just throw them in my notes in my phone.
Yep.
I want to say, so Mr. Bill had a tutorial that he did on like exponential glitches or something like that. It was like you'd put like a one shot into Ableton and then like drag it all the way as far as you can and then kind of break it into MIDI points, and that will create like a exponential growth if you then put that into a MIDI clip and then put a sound in there, like in a sampler. And that's how I created a lot of the like percussive elements, I want to say, on that track. That's why it kind of has it's like almost like a building kind of sound, like a inclining, declining kind of thing. And I don't know. I think I was just rhyming shit with exponential, and that's how it just like popped into my head. Something like that.
Nice. That's good. Well, tell me a little bit about building the track. So you mentioned the Mr. Bill kind of inspiration for it, and was that a new technique that you had learned, around that time?
Definitely. Like that one is a couple of years old, but it got pieced together over a few bits of time. I'm trying to remember. God, it's been like a minute since I've opened that session file, so I can't totally remember exact
I got you.
I do remember one thing I did at the end. Okay, so I basically bounced that whole file out, and to create even more like glitches and stuff, I chopped up the whole just waveform before I had get sent for mastering. So that's what creates like a lot more movement and like stutter edits, things like that on that track that I just hand did instead of having or automating it with like a plugin. Like I was trying to do that and I couldn't get any good results, so I was like, "Fuck this! I'll just bounce it." And like this is like an old school glitching technique. You just bounce the whole audio and then just cut it up yourself.
And that's the master.
Pitch shit up and down.
That's the master.
Yeah.
With every
whole,
single layer. Yeah,
the whole waveform. And then I'm not really doing that on the drops and stuff, but just throughout the build and maybe on the outro. I can't really think. I think it's more so in like the intro of the track.
Nice. Well, that one is also, I feel like it's very minimal, like a hip hop drum beat or something inspired by that. Seems like it's halftime and there's just so much space. Is negative space important to you when you're mixing?
Totally. Like I feel so like when I'm in final stages of kind of like mixing a track or still doing edits and stuff, but the track is like really close to being done, I'm definitely more taking stuff away at that point than I am like adding things, because the space that is there would just emphasize something else and make it more pop out, and kind of blow you away or stand out in the mix, especially if it's a big like sub bass hit or a one shot or something. The space will just accentuates like everything else.
Yeah, that's great. What advice would you give to a young musician starting out today?
You're gonna have to get on your motherfucking grind. It's like just be determined, try and be original, and don't follow too much shit that's online, social media and shit like that. It's like, don't pay attention to that and just stay in your lane and just grind and make good music, and then shit will happen for you. I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Now, when you say that, I just wonder, how do you filter some of your searches or the videos that you watch on YouTube and try and like weed out the negative ones or the ones that are not helpful to your growth?
I don't know. It all kind of depends on like what I'm searching for. If I'm looking to make like a drum and bass drum pattern or something, I'll probably like search that specific like D&B break or something, or if I'm looking for
Ableton or Logic or something like that.
Ableton, I'll be like just more like keywords in there. And I can kind of tell like when I first start a video, if the guy's like all over the place, extra cartoony, kind of like, "Hey, what's up, YouTube followers? Like and subscribe for this." Blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, okay, this is not the video for me. This guy's extra fucking corny. Fast forward to the end if this guy is even going to talk about anything interesting, But I feel like a lot of people on YouTube are almost like that because they're trying to be pitchy and catchy. And I'm not trying to hate on that, but sometimes it's a little corny and a little much. And I'm like, let's just get to like the meat and potatoes of what I'm looking for,
Yeah. And sometimes, well, do you ever find that you don't know exactly how to word what you're looking for? Like you have a concept in mind, but you don't know what it's called and how to do it? Does that make sense?
Definitely. That'll happen all the time. And I feel like you just have to get more kind of niche in your searches there, like micro kind of target what I'm looking for. If maybe there might not even be anything. And then I'll look maybe on like a Reddit forum or something. Maybe that might just be like a subreddit with a video that I don't know or something like that. Like I remember back in the day, you just look on like Glitch Hop forum and, it's just people typing paragraphs on, okay, this is what I did. I did like a filter cutoff sweep at blah, blah. and like distorted this like range of frequencies. And, I remember I used to like print all these out that all these different producers would do back at the time. Il Gates, Il Isha, a bunch of people who used to be on that. I don't even know if you can find that anymore. It might still be on the internet.
Oh, that's great. Those are like recipes of
totally
like sound design. Makes me think of like MapQuest of navigation when you're printing it out.
Sure. Definitely. But I mean, there's a lot of other things like that now too. Like so I guess now it would be the comparison would be like Discord servers, which are, tons of those, like just people talking online about different production techniques in these just like little forums. So they're basically just talking to each other, instead of just making a whole YouTube video.
Yeah. In the last 6 months, what purchase for $100 or less has most improved your life?
$100. But I probably haven't.
It doesn't have to be music related. It could be like t-shirt, shoes.
Yeah. Probably some new kicks. Yeah. I don't know. New kicks always fucking. You throw in some new shoes, you're like, fuck yeah, today's gonna be good. Especially if you got some new socks too. You're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm balling out. New kicks and new shoes.
Nice.
Flossing.
Nice. What's some of the best advice that you've ever received?
Hard hitting with the questions here in the end.
Yeah.
90% of life is being on time. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something a little bit more insightful, but yeah. I'm like drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, no worries. That's good. Cool. So outside of music, what are you into?
Music is pretty much my life at the moment, but I definitely love riding my bike, being up in the mountains, camping, going to festivals. I love going to shows. Like, I'm stoked. I'm going to about like 4 shows this next week, which is going to be fucking awesome. That is like pretty much what I do. DJing.
What have you gotten better to saying no at over the years?
Things I'm getting better at saying no at right now are accepting too many work shifts. I feel like I do that all the time, especially since like music gigs are kind of gone and then they pop back up. So I'm like, okay, I need to kind of take everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to get locked down again? Probably not. But I should probably just stack as much money as I can right now just in case shit's going to happen. But I've definitely had to steeze back on that a little bit. Like the other week, I was like, holy shit, I've been working for like 2 weeks straight. Almost like 10-hour days every day. I need to take like 3 or 4 days off or something, or at least a couple of days,
Yeah, definitely. Well, that meditation, exercise, I love that you brought that up. It's so helpful for your mindset and just calming down too. Like your body needs to move.
Totally. Like I seriously feel like that has changed my whole just like demeanor and outlook, just the way I feel every day. It's been a great change.
Nice. So for those people listening that don't already know where to find you, what are the best platforms and links for somebody out there?
I've got a shit ton of music on Spotify. Help me get them micro pennies, dog. So yeah, Spotify, Patrick Skyler, Skyler, soundcloud.com/Patrick-Skyler, I think it is. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, that's what it is. And Audius, if you use that service.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool. I have a bunch of tracks on there.
So maybe we should dive into that real quick. Well, I'll let you finish your links, but I'm impressed that you're on that.
I think it's just audius.com/Patrick-Skyler.
And that's on the blockchain, right?
Yes, or it's Patrick_Skyler for Audius, or audius.co/Patrick_Skyler. I mean, you can still get it online, but they have, I forget. So it's like they have their own token that have given away to a lot of their original contributors of music. And I think people help like build the platform or whatever. Because I know Alicia has some of this money, but I don't know how exactly, if it's like gone up, what this token is exactly doing. But that's definitely why I dumped a bunch of music on there, because they said they were like, well, we're definitely going to help all our collaborators out. At one point when we have enough money, we're definitely going to give everyone money. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They had unlimited.
Yeah,
it's great. All free, and they have unlimited music, and it's at a higher bit rate than SoundCloud. So I was like,
that's
whatever.
Impressive. Yeah. And it pays to be early on certain platforms if it's successful. Obviously, if it's not, then it wasn't. But if you're early, you get to kind of rise above the noise because there's just not as many posts on a platform. Or
totally. And then I was like my same thinking, like, I could blow up quick and maybe get 1,000 followers on here real fast, but it hasn't really been happening. But it's always platform. Just another platform to have my stuff for people who wouldn't find it somewhere else.
Nice. Well, I think you're the first artist who's mentioned that platform on this podcast, so that's cool. Yeah, it's coming. You're on the forefront. Any other links that you wanted to mention?
Instagram, I'm always like posting like works in progress and shit just in my studio and like the story. So yeah, check me out on Instagram, Patrick Skyler.
Cool. And final question for you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me or the audience listening?
Check out all my new music. I've got a new EP out September 3rd, a certain je ne sais quoi. It's gonna tickle your eardrum holes and make you feel real good.
Nice. Great. Well, Patrick Skyler, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing your music with the world.
No doubt. Thanks, man.
I'm about to blast.
You've been listening to the Freio Music Podcast with Michael Morahan. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. And don't forget to share this podcast everywhere. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned.